Breaking news. Kyle Dubas has lost his job in Toronto. Shanahan held a news conference earlier today to announce that Kyle Dubas will not be returning as the GM of the Toronto Maple Leafs, as his contract will be expiring this June. So everybody has heard that Kyle Dubas was considering to return to Toronto or not after the Maple Leafs' second round exit from the playoffs this year. So they had made some progress from all the first round exits of the prior years. They finally made it out of the first round. They finally beat Tampa Bay, move on to the second round, only to lose the first 3 games in a row to the Florida Panthers, which was the 8th seed team in the eastern side. They managed to salvage one game in Game 4, come back with a 3-1 deficit, and then in Game 5 they eventually had to lose. They could not beat out the Florida Panthers at home in Toronto. They lost in front of the crowd. And that was it. That was the end of the big strong run for Toronto this year, despite them having a great year with 111 points, second in the Atlantic, 4th best overall in the NHL, high of Vegas. And everybody was thinking this was the year that they made some big progress or perhaps even be able to hoist Lord Stanley. But the core 4 players that Dubas has signed, namely Tavares, Matthews, Marner, Nylander. Nylander is okay. Didn't show up. Didn't come to play in the second round. First round win was good enough for them. They wanted to head off to the golf course. And what's turned out to be a promising season ends up in the ditch again. So it was quite entertaining watching Kyle Dubas' reactions during these playoffs, like yelling at the fans in Tampa and throwing a water bottle up in his executive box. It was quite emotional. Maybe he knew his job was on the line this year if the Leafs didn't make big progress in the playoffs. Anyhow, this was the sequence of events that led to his departure. So after the trade deadline, Dubas and Shanahan were still discussing about contract negotiations to extend or not. Then they play into the playoffs. They lose, everybody knows. So about a week later, still everything looks okay. Kyle Dubas seems to be likely to return as the GM of the Maple Leafs. However, last Sunday, they had a big team photo. Everything still looked good. And then Monday, the 15th, Kyle Dubas comes out with a press conference. In the presser, he is asked if he is going to return next year as the GM and extend his contract. And he replies, it's all going to be up to his family discussions. His family is going to play a major role in what he does in the future with his job as his role as GM of the Maple Leafs. And he has no idea and it's unfair to answer to everybody right now. So he didn't really directly answer anything, just played his family card that his family is most important and nothing can be answered until they're finalized with their family discussions. Now, upon hearing different outlets reporting, it is said that Shanahan had told Dubas not to come out with a press conference and relate any info to the press regarding his stay or going, if he will extend his contract or not. Everything should be internal, finalized, discussed before anything is related to the public. But for some reason, Kyle Dubas surprised everybody, including Shanahan, and came out with a surprise press conference on Monday and said what he said above. Now, Shanahan was probably not happy about this because Dubas was this young fella nobody knew about from 9 years ago that Shanahan had brought up and supported, gave him these assistant GM roles as a youngster, not even 30 years old, and gave him this big opportunity to run this huge franchise, the Toronto Maple Leafs, earning him GM at the age of 32, the second youngest GM in NHL history. Although he did quite a good job to build the team that what it is today. Good, bad, well, you guys name it. He built a stacked team, but that stacked team is not winning and it's not going anywhere. Now, after his departure, don't know if it will stay intact or not. So Monday, he comes out with the presser. Before that, it was Shanahan waiting for Dubas to reply on the offer that was made. Then on Wednesday the 17th, Dubas and his agent go back to negotiate with Shanahan. It's reported that Shanahan had offered Kyle Dubas a contract of 5 years at $4 million per. However, it seems like Dubas had wanted a bit more money. He was looking at the range of 6 to 7 million per year instead. And also it was heard that he wanted some more authority as GM of the Maple Leafs. Maybe he wanted to have more power and make decisions quicker and not have to have everything go through Shanahan or whatever that might make him uncomfortable in the past. But after this counter offer, this morning, Friday the 19th, Shanahan announces no more deal. Kyle Dubas, your contract extension will not be happening anymore. You had your chance, you screwed up. Thank you for what you've done for the Maple Leafs. We're taking back our offer. You can find a job elsewhere. So basically, Shanahan admitted that this decision was by himself, with some input by the owners of the MLSE, but looks like Kyle Dubas had played his hand a bit too far. He thought he had some leverage, but now he is jobless. Perhaps he made the guy that looked out for him for 9 years, supported him, boosted him up in this sports world, gave him a bright future as a sports executive, just simply feel betrayed. Anyhow, Dubas will be gone, and along with him is Jason Spezza, his personal assistant to the GM. So Spezza resigned before Shanahan's press conference, and also Sheldon Keefe, so the coach that he brought in from the Marlies, he's staying at the moment. For how long? We're not sure. So if a new GM comes in, we don't know if he's going to bring in his own coach. So we'll know that probably in the summer or in a short while, because Shanahan made it public that finding a GM was #1 priority and needs to be done ASAP. So will Dubas be finding a new GM job elsewhere? Will the Pittsburgh Penguins give him the job as GM, as was rumored earlier? Or could he be joining the Calgary Flames, as they're in need of a GM too? Or maybe he will just remain jobless this season and take a rest. Well, we'll keep everybody updated as we get more news and information. So meanwhile, please kindly support our channel by liking, sharing, and subscribing. Thank you. Goodbye.